Okay, so I'm joined on the stage by two artists, two brothers that I've come to know and have inspired me in many ways. And I want them to each just take a moment or two to tell the audience who each of you are.
Sure. Thank you for this. How y'all doing, everybody? Again, my name is JAEL. I'm from Washington, D.C. I'm about 30 years old now, so dirty 30. It's exciting to be here and just speak to you guys about what it is that I do. But I'm an artist, a rapper, but really more so I'd say a constructionalist. I think that you're more than just what you're here or to do, like more than just your occupation, or more than just your skill. You're you. And what I've fought to do with my own life is to retain a sense of my own identity, to hold fast to those things that make me feel that I am, right? So doing that through my ability to communicate through the arts. I guess the earliest sort of memory I have of doing that would be in elementary school. What all elementary kids do, draw with crayons. I'm sitting at this round table, and my teacher, Mrs. Green, for some reason, they're always named after a color. But she comes over and she says, you know, that's a really good fire truck that you're drawing. And she asked me, what do you want to be when you get older? And I just exclaimed, I want to be an artist. And there was such conviction with it, and I think she was a little taken aback that maybe she had influenced me to say that because of her compliment. So she's like, let me give him, you know, hey, you know, you don't have to decide right now if you decide to change your mind. But, you know, I had confirmed, like, no, I want to be an artist. I'm going to be an artist when I get older. And to sort of stick with that conviction and watch that seed, you know, mature into a large oak tree has been quite beautiful. I've learned a lot of things, seen a lot of people, been to a lot of places, just came from London, and, you know, was on this sort of hero's journey, pilgrim's journey, if you will. And, you know, to bring that all back here and, you know, just to share a little bit about that journey with you all, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Understanding Sowerby. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn's in the house. Brooklyn's in the house. I am currently a teacher at a high school in Queens. Actually, it's middle school, high school. I've been teaching for 27 years. At this particular time, I'm a special education intervention teacher. I'm looking to retire, but after sitting here with this panel, I know that when I retire, I'm still going to continue to do the work that needs to be done, because I got to give it up to you guys, man. Yes, definitely. Like I said, I'm from Brooklyn, born and raised in Brooklyn, product of the New York City public school system. Hassan, I would have to give it up to him a lot. We met in undergraduate school at Plattsburgh State University. We've been road tripping for years, and this is another part of our road tripping journey. I was able to have the opportunity to co-illustrate one of his books along with Masai. Yeah, man, just giving it up to you, man.
See what I mean about how hard it is to sell your book? Like, to tell people you have this amazing piece of art? I thought they would lead with that. Right. You guys are part of the Art of Human Care family. It didn't even start with that.
You know, I didn't want to boast, but...
It's terrible, but no, this is really important. So there was a very deliberate reason why I had the two of you gentlemen share the stage with me, because there's something very powerful about what we did. And hopefully, at some point, more people will realize that. And what I mean by that is we created this work together. I may have misled you a little bit, took a little bit of guidance or a little bit of creative license, and I said, the book is written. I just need art to go in with the book. You probably remember this kind of conversation. Yeah. Wasn't true. I had the book written in my head, but it wasn't out on the pages. And when I engaged with each of you and all the artists that have contributed to the book, and they would share with me their drafts, like you did, JR, like you did. You guys inspired me. The words came from me seeing your art. Just think about that.
I actually thought it was the other way around, because we had some conversations,
yeah,
and my pieces came from you.
Yeah. It was iterative, but that happened. that happened all the way through all the pages until the book was done. I would see your art, you would see my words. I would show you my words, you would make more art.
If I might say, one of the most inspirational things about that process was the Star Patrol. I don't know if you guys know, but he had, authored a book called Star Patrol as a kid. And I found that just remarkable that you retained that. And I think that's so powerful, the things of old, the memento. We're like on a speed train to a futuristic sort of utopia. And in doing that, me and you were talking. And just oftentimes how we lose the ethic of what it means to dig for the gold, for the new idea. With all of the innovation and the care, I think even bringing it back, because when I think about what it means to care, we could spend our whole time doing the opposite. Where would it get us? With all the progressiveness, if we use that human element, even as the politician was speaking about earlier. Sorry, I forgot your name. Kermit. But even as you were speaking about earlier, with that loss of that human element to dig and to work for those things, for inspiration, for novelty, when that becomes expedited, when we can get it like in a Happy Meal format, what sort of happens is that we lose what it means to really actually care because we can just get it out of a vending machine. We can just pop in, a quarter and get some sort of ready-made package out of that. But to dig, to actually do the wax on, the wax off, if anyone's seen Karate Kid, right? You got to put the hand to the muscle, right? The muscle to the hand. And I think, that's one of the most powerful things that I learned just working on this book. Like, I had to physically draw. I had to physically sit and contemplate. I had to think. I came to my wit's end, and then I had to think some more. Got to my wit's end again and had to think some more, and then inspiration came. And then I sat and I went to work as it came. I didn't wait. Oftentimes we're like, all right, we'll get to it later. Sometimes a great moment is now. The moment is right now. I think if we get back to that element of caring about ourselves and giving ourselves even just the opportunity to even care about the things that matter to us, our dreams, those things that inspired you at 3 a.m., that will cause about a ripple effect and a care for all. Something a little bit more egalitarian, yeah.
So I'm going to illustrate and show how much you guys have inspired me in a moment. I'm going to take a little license here. I'd like you to share with the audience. We've probably never really talked about this much, but let's go back to, 30 years or so. My junior year of college. It seemed like you were in college for a long time, so I don't know what year that was for you.
I was about to say, I can't remember that far back.
But we are both proud members of the illustrious Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, and I was out. This was before cell phones. None of that stuff was existing. I remember knocking and pounding and almost like a break into my dorm room. And I remember you, and it was one of our other fraternity brothers there, Sean. And all I remember you saying was, "It smells like death in here." Oh, wow. So what, and then I don't remember anything else for a little bit. What happened?
Actually, when I was listening to your story, it brought tears to my eyes because I actually started thinking about this story. Like Hassan said, it was definitely a very hectic weekend. We had planned a whole Sigma weekend, and by the time I got back, the people who were doing the other work started getting on my nerves because they were upset that I got back a little later than expected. I just started asking about Hassan because I was gone and I hadn't seen him. I thought that, he would have been, taking the lead on other things that needed to take place. Nobody knew where Hassan was. Nobody heard from Hassan. So I just went back to the dorms to see if he was at least in his room or something. And I'm knocking on the door, he's not answering. And I'm like, well, where else could he be? He's got to be here because I hear the music playing. So I'm pounding on the door. I mean, I get to the point where I'm kicking the door and students are coming out, wondering what's going on. And I'm asking, the other he was an RA at the time, actually. And I'm asking some of the other RAs, have they spoken to Hassan or whatever? And nobody's seen him or whatever. At some point, I guess Hassan mustered up the energy to actually come and answer the door. And he was so faint, so pale and sweaty. And I think part of the smell was your fish tank that you hadn't taken care of. But, the room was just like so dark, and it just, Hassan just like, wasn't even paying attention. He didn't like greet us the way he normally does or whatever. And he just like, went back and faded into the bed. And I'm like, nah, something's going on. I just had that feeling. And I'm like, look, we got to get you to the hospital because you don't look well. You don't have that energy. And what's going on? And he's just like, mumbling and saying whatever. I don't even remember half the stuff that he was saying. But my frat brother Sean and I, we carried him up, and we picked him up and carried him out to the van and drove him to the hospital. They were under the impression that he had used some drugs and had, like a bad episode or whatever. And I'm not too sure exactly how many days later they diagnosed the meningitis case. And then we're on campus, you go to the bathrooms and you see somebody with orange urine in there. This guy was exposed to Hassan. They gave us some antibiotics, and yeah, man.
That's what you remember. Huh? So what I remember is he came in the room and said, "Smells like death in here," and I was out for days, tube in every orifice of my body. So we share something in common there, Steve. And I was diagnosed with bacterial meningitis, which many of you know is lethal, especially in college-age kids. So in many ways, you saved my life, brother. And
so in his book, The Art of Human Care, when he tells the story about the person who saved his life, he was talking about me. Yeah.
So what I'd like to do right now, by the way, I do remember one other thing. So as he mentioned, when you ever been exposed to meningitis, someone you came in contact with, they do trace analysis. I was the only case in Plattsburgh at the time, which meant that I probably got it when I went to Baltimore, incidentally to interview for medical school, by the way. And for the record, I did not drink or do any drugs in college, and thankfully they believed them because they brought me in like this, so you can imagine what they were thinking. But fortunately, I got the correct diagnosis. But what I do remember is that after I got out of the hospital, I was told that all the people that came in contact with Hassan in the last 24, 48 hours or whatever, was told to go to the health center and get rifampin, which would help prevent the spread and, potential contraction of it. And I was told that there was a line of women, like all the way. That's good. All right. Thank you, brother.